I'm Joseph McManus, and I'm a senior. I'm a freshman.
Nelson Rubel, and I'm a second year.
Adam Clark, senior.
Chris Moore, Guilford class of 2013.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Merwin. I'm a second year, second semester, second year.
I'm Becca Marasco, and I'm a sophomore. Emily Egan, and I'm a sophomore.
I play basketball.
Do you think that there's a significant student divide between the students and athletes?
I definitely think there probably is at least some, difference between, obviously there's a lot of, different people here, so I think there's definitely a divide that exists.
No, it just depends. I mean, with the rugby team at least, we get people from like everywhere. We have people that aren't necessarily athletes. We have people from like other sports that come and play. So we're always like hanging out with like other people, but as far as like other sports, I haven't really noticed anything too bad or like a huge divide or anything like that, really, as far as I know. So,
I mean, I personally don't associate with athletes, or not. I don't. It's not that I choose not to. It just never really happens. They seem to. A lot of them play sports and then not really into that, and then also they seem to just. I've met many that just seem to be here to play sports instead of giving to the community and being a Guilford student, if you will.
I don't think a significant divide, but I think a divide exists. They seem to be almost cliquey.
Well, it kind of depends on a lot of different things. There's definitely a lot of different groups, and there definitely has, when I came into Guilford my freshman year, I definitely noticed that there was kind of this sense of the traditional Guilford student, traditional meaning hippie, or something kind of along those lines. People say hipster, but then no one knows what they mean and stuff like that. And then like people have this idea of the jock, but then there's all these jocks that are also part of that hippie crowd, and they're like, they're captain of the football teams that are also like some of like the coolest people in that crowd. I mean, would I say that there's a divide? I mean, yeah, there's big groups of people that last year at Serendipity that were associated with sports teams that were like yelling, Guilford sucks, Guilford sucks. And like, I remember that when we kind of like, I don't know, there was to a certain extent like somewhat like, I don't know, there is some exclusion like kind of against people that are associated with varsity sports teams, and some of them like break away from it, and some of them don't, and some of them kind of embrace it. But at the same time, looking at freshmen this next year, although I feel like part of it might have to do with I feel like a lot of the I don't know. I feel like my freshman year, a lot of people met a lot more upperclassmen a lot faster, but maybe that's just my perception as like big part of that class. But I don't know. I feel like maybe the freshman year this year might not feel that is as big a part of like their experience, but I don't really know. So, but I would be interested in seeing what the freshmen would have to say. But definitely that the people that came before me definitely had the sense that there was a big divide, and that certainly was something that permeated my freshman experience to some extent.
I do think there's this divide. I don't know about how significant it is to take from the school, but there's definitely noticeable one. Same opinion. I agree.
At some points it just depends on in classes. I definitely don't have anything against anybody else. It's just, who you spend your time with mainly is athletes. But yeah, I mean, I do spend some time with traditional students too.
Do you ever feel excluded by, or that you've excluded traditional students in social situations?
I mean, I would say sometimes there's certain instances where, your team's sitting together at dinner or something like that, where, obviously somebody's going to feel, not included, but also that goes the same for the other way. That, see a group of, students who are, music majors or something like that, who you don't really see or hang out with much. And I mean, you may feel excluded there. So I mean, it's just kind of what you're comfortable with, and naturally I think there's going to be like a difference.
I'd say so more than actual like athletes versus non-athletes. would say.
Of course, not all athletes are the same, but I have met some in my life that I don't like, and they just, I don't know, I've met, in my experience, there have been athletes that have broken bathrooms and just act like they are better because they are athletes and such, and kind of that whole high school aspect still coming to Guilford, and they feel that because they play sports and they represent Guilford outside of the community to other colleges that they are better than others. But of course, that's not all. That's just those that I've met in my experience.
Do you feel like you could go up to them and sit down in a group of football players and?
No, I'd feel out of place.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever exclude athletes from your social group?
No, not intentionally.
Okay. Is there anything else you think we should know about it? Anything else you want to say?
Not really. My only example is the baseball team, and they were a bunch of nice guys, albeit very cliquey. And they had their own little internal jokes, but it was funny.
Yeah.
They hung out with me, I hung out with them. It was all good. But now this year, since I'm not living with one, it's definitely like a difference. They're just, I wouldn't say less friendly, but it's just a, hey, what's up, not a conversation anymore.
I kind of, I think a lot of us kind of felt bad, kind of felt that the exclusion was really going more towards excluding athletes in general. I mean, I think that's more of the sense that my friends or people that I knew had of the athlete divide. Although, I mean, like, certainly, like, I mean, we all, like, you know, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, Guilford does have a lot of different groups that embrace different levels of, like, I don't know, anti-normality. And you know, that's part of what makes Guilford great. And you know, a lot of people, you know, in developing that idiosyncrasy, you know, they've dealt with people excluding them in high school and like things like that, and sometimes, you know, they have kind of homogenized ideas about the kinds of people that will do that, and so they have like, well, jocks would do that if they had the chance, so, you know, it's whatever. And so, like, I mean, you know, I think some people might hold, you know, kind of sentiments like that, but, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. So do you hang out with a lot of people outside of the lacrosse team?
Definitely. We live in a Bryant suite, and we're the only athletes, and all the other girls are athletes, and we hang out with all of them all the time.
Have you ever felt excluded by traditional students in social situations?
I think that's a good question. I think we were freshmen last year, so but last year we had a different dynamic. We were on the athletic side of things and felt excluded that way in the side that we are now. If that makes sense.
Have you guys ever felt like you've excluded other students because they aren't athletes?
No.
Do you have any other opinions on the matter? Anything else you want to say?
I think this is something that the student body feels really strongly about, and now with a lot of this talk going on in schools, people are becoming more vocal about it, which is great. So I think that if we all get together or start expressing our opinions and hearing what each other is saying, we can start relating or even disagreeing to come together and find a solution for something. So I'm really glad this is happening.